Hey everybody, welcome to the John Campea Show. I was looking at a different monitor. I do these openings so well. I'm such a pro. Thank you for coming here for once again another edition of the Non-Campea Show. John is still on the mend, so you got your Batman Beyond crew back today, baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking around with us. It's not just me, it's of course Rayora.
Yeah, we saw John earlier today. It's his voice is a little. He's gonna need a little bit of rest, so give him a little bit of time. Probably be back on Monday.
That'll be good. And we've also got, obviously, Jonathan here, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, if you guys could give me a little bit of time, too. That
Yeah,
would be
he
wonderful.
won't be back on Monday.
He won't be.
I won't be,
Nor I. I'm Chris Carr, and I'm going to be trying my best to steer the ship today. So thank you so much for being here, because we are going to talk to you about all kinds of great stuff. Movie news, TV news, streaming, video games, all sorts of awesome things, and we can't do it without you. Before we dive into those stories, though, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. This is meant to be a podcast. As adorable as all of us are, you should be listening to this. So you should be listening it wherever you get your podcasts. And when you're there, please go ahead and rate us. We would love to have more 5 stars, bud. So go rate on there. We appreciate it. Also, smash that like and subscribe button. I don't know, whatever you say.
Hit them noties.
Get them noties. Yes.
Look at that. Like
All
and
those.
subscribe.
Give a thumbs up. Leave a comment or super chat. All those good things.
It
We
all
would
helps.
really appreciate it. It helps us out so much. And with all that down, let's get into some of these stories, y'all. And the first one we've got here today is that we've got Miles Teller is on board now for a new Antoine Fuqua film, the Michael Jackson biopic that's happening over at Lionsgate and Universal.
Yep.
Now, this comes to us from our friends over at Deadline. We've got Miles joining the cast here in an exclusive. Top Gun Maverick and Whiplash star Miles Teller is in talks to join Lionsgate and Universal Pictures International Antoine Fuqua-directed Michael. Sources tell us there's no deal yet for Teller. The movie is currently shooting ahead of an April 18th, 2025 theatrical release. Teller, we hear, would play an attorney in the Michael Jackson biopic. Exactly which of Jackson's attorneys, we'll see. So we don't know much about this. We don't know exactly which character he's going to be playing. I personally am always a little wary of news when we don't have a contract fully in place, because things can change just like that. Not only because of schedules, other films conflicting with this. He's a very sought after actor. He's got a very full workload. But also, I mean, you got to put that pen to paper so everybody can get the money that they want. And again, as a sought after actor, I believe Miles Teller can ask for quite a bit these days.
Yep.
But talent added to anything, I always think is a good idea. Guys, how do you feel about this?
The fact that he's playing an attorney, would be playing or is going to play an attorney. I don't know. it tells us where this biopic may be going.
Well, it definitely is. Going
Right?
that
Like,
direction,
of course, like, I loved Michael Jackson, growing up. He was a big part. His music was a big part of my life. I wonder about this biopic, how deep it's gonna get, how the controversies or anything like that. Especially when the man's not around anymore. You know what I mean? To actually oversee it or whatever, or see the final product. Miles Teller, we last saw him in Top Gun Maverick. I've always liked him every time I've seen him on screen, but even yet, I'm still not familiar with him enough to actually put him on my list of actors that I actually go watch.
Sure.
But from everything I've seen from him, he's great.
He's incredible in Whiplash. He's just overshadowed because J.K. Simmons is astounding in that.
Whiplash and Nightcrawler are my favorite of that year.
He's wonderful in that.
Yeah, but Whiplash was amazing. And of course, he was fun in Maverick.
He was really fun in Maverick.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire.
Because it does say in the article that he's one of 2 lawyers. But both of them still dealt with the pedophile accusations and everything. So we're getting into the weeds with this in Antoine Fuqua's film.
Which is very interesting because, we reported on this months ago that, Jafar Jackson, Michael's nephew, is portraying him in the film. So it does lead me to believe that this is going to be made with some, familial understanding and respect.
Yeah.
But I am interested to see how far we go down this rabbit hole, what we're going to talk about and what we're going to discuss in this movie, how far we're going to go into that too. Because obviously once Michael Jackson passed, a lot of people felt a different way about him, his life, some of his controversy, and everyone's obviously entitled to have their own opinions on everything too. There's just no denying an incredible music performer.
Right, and then like the last thing I remember watching about him was that Return to Neverland or what?
Yes.
That documentary. That documentary was, I felt something afterwards, like a little bit. It was kind of like, it kind of made me sad, and it was one of those documentaries you watch and it sticks in your head for some reason, especially if you were a fan of Michael Jackson. Antoine Fuqua is gonna direct this. He did the Equalizer movie, I think. The first one, or at least I think the first one.
Yep, he's known for Equalizer. He did the third one, Training Day.
He's got a pretty good track record, I
Absolutely.
think. And
I think something like this is going to be in safe hands.
Yeah.
Put it
Yes.
that way. Yeah.
I think so too. Guys.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah. We have something that popped up I want to cover next, but we can close this.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, because I was going to say, guys, I want to know what you have to think about this, though. Are you really excited about Miles Teller potentially, because I want to emphasize that, potentially being on board in this film as one of Michael Jackson's attorneys? Do you think this is a smart move? Are you looking forward to this film? And what kind of trajectory do you think it has? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Jonathan, what did you have?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I've been seeing it in the chat, and I did confirm some very sad news today.
Oh, no.
Looks like Carl Weathers passed away. Yeah. So Deadline's reporting here.
Oh my gosh.
Carl Weathers dies, Rocky Predator star. He was also in The Mandalorian. He was 76. And it says a message from his family that we are deeply saddened to announce the passing of Carl Weathers. His family said in a statement, he died peacefully in his sleep on Thursday. Carl was an exceptional human being who lived an extraordinary life. He was very passionate about, and I didn't really, he's an actor and he's a great actor, but until you see interviews or whatever, you don't really understand the person's passion. He really had a passion for all things cinema and acting.
Yeah.
So it's really sad.
What's crazy is that not yesterday, but the night before, I actually purchased an Apollo Creed little statue because as years went on, Rocky is supposed to be the. I actually, and being a fan of boxing, I actually think Apollo Creed was the greatest boxer in the Rocky universe. He was, even though Drago defeated him or whatever. I just love.
Well, he was also an old man, and
I
Drago
cannot
was
believe that he just. I don't even know what to say about this.
I know, very sudden.
It's
I didn't
very
even think he was bedridden or anything.
He may have just gone because he went in his sleep. It's common that the heart stops. My uncle passed that way in his sleep. His heart just stopped.
Yeah.
And you literally just go to sleep that night peacefully, and you just don't wake up. It if you're gonna go, it is honestly the best
kindest way you can go. Yeah.
But maybe he had obviously some issues that we didn't know about, but it didn't sound like he was sick. Maybe more will come out.
Yeah, we'll find out more as this continues to break and everything. But what a wonderful actor in person. And, it was so lovely seeing him have such a resurgence in his career with Mandalorian. And that big booming Mando, I'm gonna really miss.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Well,
sorry to
thoughts and prayers to his family.
absolutely
hopefully.
thoughts and prayers to his family.
Yeah.
We're
And
gonna
you know what? I'm gonna go watch Rocky today.
sure and root for Apollo.
Or
Honestly,
even watch
as you should.
Happy Gilmore.
He's great in Happy Gilmore. Yes.
He was even in I always want to say Curb Your Enthusiasm, but Arrested Development.
Arrested Development. Yeah.
Oh, we're just getting our stew on, baby.
Exactly. Save those bones.
I am a little glad because I've been on an Apollo Creed binge lately of trying to. I even ordered a T-shirt of Apollo Creed that says, "I'm coming for you," or something like that. He has his fist. I am a Apollo Creed fan. I can't believe it. I've been on a binge of
Crazy timing.
that character lately. Yeah.
Guys, make sure you hold extra long when you Predator clap your friends today.
There you go.
Right?
Right.
Hold those hands a little tighter. R.I.P. Well, we'll get to the rest of these stories.
Yep.
I don't know how to segue out of that tastefully, so we'll just kind of go on to the next topic. We talked about this a little bit. Daredevil is now canon. At least the Netflix one, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got all those characters coming. And we had speculated a few weeks ago about who would return from the Netflix universe into the proper MCU. And one of the ones I desperately wanted back in the mix was Jessica Jones. I freaking love Jessica Jones. I love that whiskey swilling lady. I think she's wonderful. I think the adaptation they did was great. A few missteps once we got to season 3, I felt, but overall, really, really strong show. And I think she is phenomenal in the role. And we got a little tease from Ms. Jones herself, Kristen Ritter, talking about how she could be coming back on board in Daredevil Born Again. So this one is over from IGN. Cosmic Marvel tweeted about this too. Kristen Ritter shares a new video on Instagram wearing the same shirt as Jessica Jones with the caption, "If you know, you know," and those eyeball emojis.
Wow.
Now, she could just have taken that from set, and it could just be a reference of like, hey.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Look at me. Look at me.
Yeah,
I want to come back.
If you watch Jessica Jones, you know this. I'm rocking her
This is
T-shirt.
his shirt,
He's going to
yeah.
be a
And she
part
put
of
it-
another news story later on, too. The Sonic one. But yeah, this one, she's a great actress.
She's wonderful.
I remember watching season 1 of Jessica Jones, and I was one of the people that actually liked it. Like, I didn't think it was bad at all, because there's a lot of people that didn't like it.
I feel like it had a really strong first season reception. I think now, retroactively, people like to talk about how it wasn't that good. But I remember when it was on, that first season, people were
I liked
really
it.
into it and really liked her.
My only problem is, and they did it for budget, but it was like, she is supposed to be a superhero, right? I mean, like, she's supposed to have powers, and we don't really ever get to see, like, it was always like she could flip a car or she could just punch a guy really hard, but you never got like a baseline of what her power level actually was.
Yeah.
And it was inconsistent. It's like if she got mad, maybe a door would come off the hinge, but then maybe she could also do more than that. But it seemed like the same amount of effort.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe in season 2 or something, they finally showed that she could jump really far. But all they
Yeah.
did was cut on close up to her shoes, kind of turning and jumping off the ground,
And then superhero landing.
and then superhero landing. And it was like, why don't you ever show us her powers? We saw Luke Cage's powers all the time.
Well,
We spent so much money on.
We saw their powers together.
Yeah.
Well, that was the power of love, baby.
That
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 was
was
Those
But
very
Huey Lewis in the news aside,
Power Hour.
I felt like that was a little inconsistent and frustrating, but it hadn't. But that did not affect the storytelling, her relationship with Purple Man, and all of that. Yeah.
I still want him to come back. I know he got his neck snapped, but come on.
So if she comes back, how many of the Defenders are coming back so far? We got 2 of them, right? 2,
yeah. So we've got Daredevil, and we've got her potentially.
right? And then
I still don't feel like we're gonna get Finn Jones back in the mix as Iron Fist. Maybe we could. I do, to his credit. I think he had really great chemistry with Mike Coulter. I loved their scenes together.
Yeah.
And again, I've said this before. My personal take is that Iron Fist really suffered from poor time management. They rushed that. He had no time to practice his fight choreography. So a lot of the sloppy things in that show, he had nothing to do with.
That too was another situation where it was frustrating storytelling. It reminded me of. Did you ever watch Carnival on HBO?
Yes.
Not many people did watch Carnival, but although I enjoyed it to a point, it was like, no, I don't want my powers. No, I don't want my powers. And then you're like, okay, at some point he's going to use his powers and then he'll like make this character arc. And it's like, no, I don't. And like 2 seasons in, I don't want my powers. I'm like, would something happen in this show?
You got him, babe.
He finally saved somebody. And then even after that, he's like, but I didn't want my powers. I'm like, this is such frustrating storytelling. And my point is with Finn Jones, it's like his Iron Fist would work once in a while. And then even if it did, it charged up and he couldn't use it ever again.
Yeah.
And it was just frustrating. It was frustrating storytelling.
It was the very opposite end of Hulk power, right? Of just, we had so many limitations on Iron Fist that it got to get in the way of how we could move the story forward. Whereas, Hulk, you had to go, ooh, he's too powerful. We got to figure that out. Ooh.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see her back in the mix. What's your over-under on this? Like, if we're just going like right in the middle, 50%, over-under that Kristen Ritter's back as Jessica Jones.
I think I'll go over 50%. If not in the season next, or at least near the end or something. I just think she'll pop in because she is a private investigator. He is a lawyer.
Yeah.
So they fit in that world. I mean, I don't know that Iron Fist or Luke Cage necessarily fit in that world yet.
Sure.
And I don't know that they necessarily have to be, but I could see her popping in just to reconfirm with people this is the Netflix coda.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing, or just so they had filmed Daredevil Born Again. It was done or close to being done
For the most part.
and then they decided not to and so it's like if she comes back for Daredevil Born Again, that they're really redoing this.
Yeah.
Because I would figure
big time,
if she
yeah.
was going to be in it, she would have already been in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think Foggy or Karen were in it either.
Right. So it's just strange that
These are
now
big reshoots.
we're kind of seeing how deep these reshoots are. It might not even be considered reshoots anymore. Just a
it's-
complete rewrite,
Yeah.
with using some footage, you know, and I think in some cases you could be alarmed by that, but I think this is the turning of the tide. I'm trying to be positive. I think this is the turning of the tide for Marvel, at least.
Same.
And what they're doing with Captain America 4, I think Feige's back in the pilot seat again. So I'm going to be hopeful. So I'm thinking we have possibility to really have a great Deadpool, a great Daredevil, a great Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts, and have an upward trajectory with the MCU. And
I'm
if
with
not,
ya.
then honestly, if not, it's not the end of the world.
No.
I just don't want any of these characters to be shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
as in like, oh yeah, she wants to come back. Okay, we'll come back. We'll write you in. You know, I don't want that. If
That's a great
if
point.
she doesn't fit, save it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Save it.
Exactly. And you know what? If we don't enjoy what happens here, we can always revisit those Netflix things. We can always revisit the source material. I know sometimes that's hard to hear too as comic book fans of, hey, if it isn't exactly what we want, no big deal.
Yeah.
We'll get them next time, or we'll go back to what we really, really love. And that's the comics themselves usually.
Yeah. And or we'll just see what James Gunn does with DCU.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
High hopes over there, too. Well, guys, question is for you. Do you think we are going to see the return of Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones? Or do you think she's just rocking that t-shirt because she wants to rock that t-shirt? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Next up, we've got some Tarantino news.
Woo!
And it's about Brad Pitt.
All right.
They're teaming up again.
Wow.
How about that?
How about that? Brad Pitt is going to be back with Quentin Tarantino in his supposed final film, The Movie Critic. And I think this makes absolutely perfect sense. They've got a great track record together. I mean, Brad Pitt's gotten an Oscar under his direction.
Yeah.
Inglourious Basterds, I think, is a brilliant film that really kind of, for me, changed how I felt about Brad Pitt, too.
Inglourious Bastards is actually my favorite Tarantino
Me
film.
too. I
Really?
love that
Yeah.
one.
And
I've never
that
seen
end,
it.
that end scene, actually, I even have it, right? Let me find the shot. This shot right here, when he says, I think this might be my best work.
Yes.
I feel like that's Tarantino looking at you through the camera saying, I think this might have been my masterpiece.
Ooh, I like that take. Oh my gosh. These two in this movie too. Eli Roth is so good in
Yeah,
this movie.
the bear.
Oh, Ray, this is a fabulous film.
You've never seen
Inglourious-
it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Do you watch a lot of Tarantino?
Not really. Only the ones that if people decided to watch one at their place or something like that.
Sure.
It's not like I'll be like, no, I can't watch Tarantino.
Yeah.
It's just I don't usually tend to choose to go see them.
I'm in that same
but I'm
boat.
open to seeing.
But you're
them.
also not into like
I'm open
kind
to
of
seeing that.
violence, like the heavy
Yeah.
kind of. And
Oh,
you
you know,
get there.
I remember Django. Some of the
Yeah.
the racial stuff like was really.
They're not all like
was,
that.
You
but
know, was kind of just a, you know.
It's a hard watch.
Yeah, sometimes it's a hard watch for me.
Sure.
And
and
not that,
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's not supposed to be like,
not
yeah.
that I'm trying to shun myself from the world of that
Sure.
because I know that has happened, exists, and it will always be in history.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that for movies, to me, everyone knows I go because I really either want to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertainment to me. Sometimes I can handle that stuff. Sometimes I don't. But Inglourious Bastards, everyone says it's
It's my favorite, man.
Well,
It's-
you can
it's good. It's
really.
fun.
Can you give me a little premise of it? Because I did like.
It's an alternate universe in a sense.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt leads a group of soldiers and
Mostly Jewish soldiers.
Yeah, Jewish soldiers, and they're like a small elite crew, and they're behind the enemy lines in Germany, right? Like a hit squad, and their ultimate goal is to kill Hitler. Yeah. So, and all of his like higher ups. And so it's about that mission.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously, in World War II, there was no hit squad that caught Hitler and killed him. But this is an alternate telling of how World War II ended.
But okay, so that was their first thing together. The next one was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I specifically didn't go watch that only because I'm into documentaries. I watched so many documentaries on Sharon Tate and Manson.
Sure.
That I felt I didn't need a dramatization of what I saw already. Like you know what I mean?
This is also an alternate reality.
Oh, is it?
Where there's a happy ending.
Oh.
I had that same thought too, right? I waited till I got this as a screener to watch it so I could watch it from home in case I needed to take breaks.
Yeah.
And then it was, okay. This one still, I like Inglourious Basterds much more. This one I wasn't as super keen on, but I know a lot of people loved this, especially
I might be
just the
interested in
Hollywood.
watching that.
And actually, you might really like Brad Pitt's character because of the happy ending.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I might give that one a shot because I thought it was just going to be a one-for-one.
It doesn't glorify anything terrible.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
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 Which
okay.
is a nice change from those kind of real life stories.
I did think it was kind of interesting in this topic where it talks about, okay, so the movie Critic is the film he's in.
Yes.
So Pitt may be playing, they're saying, the lead role. And basically this movie Critic, I guess Tarantino, when he was in his young days, he used to reload like the porno magazine stand things, and he'd take the coins out to give to his employer. And, you know, a lot of the stuff, like, he was like, well, it was just really trashy and whatever. I wasn't into it. But there was this one trade that had a movie critic in the porno mag. And he's like, I loved his snarky take, and it seemed like he was a little more like, he wasn't like your typical movie critic in the time.
Yeah.
You know, and
I thought it was a lady that wrote that art.
That's what we were thinking too. So this may be an alternate telling, or he may be playing a different character. But either way, it's based on that. Yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
So there is speculation, because if you read the novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Brad Pitt's character is a real film buff, aside from all of his other things.
Yeah.
So there's rumors going around that what if this is kind of a continuation of that world, and he becomes a film critic for a porno mag? You know what I mean? Like he's just trying to get his feet in the door.
I see.
You know?
Like a shared universe, like a Tarantino
so there
cinematic universe.
There could be that
TCU.
The QTCU.
Yeah, there could be that kind of a situation.
And let's not forget, this is supposed to be Tarantino's last film.
Supposedly.
So if it is, then he's picking out his boys, the people he works well with.
Yeah, and that seems to be a lot of people. I will say, I hope that let's say this is his last film, I hope he brings back some actors from like his OG films, like Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Obviously, he can't work with Bruce Willis anymore, but I mean, even bring back John Travolta for something, or Samuel L. Jackson, or you know, I mean, if this is the last one, then I'd like to see some of the actors he's worked with in his early career. Obviously, he's going to be working with Pitt, and we'll probably see. Harvey Keitel seems to have gone through the entire arc of his. He's not in every film, but he's in a lot.
He's in most of them, though.
Yeah. So we'll see if he's in this.
I'm interested. I would like it to be so every role basically is just a Tarantino cameo almost.
Yeah.
Because they're all the actors he uses too are such incredible craftsmen and craftswomen. They're so talented, and they always just kind of dissolve into whatever role he ends up giving them. So I'd love to just see the whole cast show up from everything.
I mean, I'm not even an actor, but obviously you are. But imagine being able to like bite into a Tarantino script and then his direction.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like
that's the dream.
Yeah.
What a great
Aside
day
from
at the
maybe
office.
Spielberg, that's the dream.
Seriously,
you know what I mean?
yeah, having somebody who has such a vision and has such a style.
Yeah.
That'd be delicious. Oh my goodness. Guys, what do you think about Brad Pitt being in this latest and final, potentially, Tarantino film? Are you excited about Brad being on board? Does it make sense to you? Do you think this is Tarantino's final film? Do you read the reviews in porno magazines from movie critics? Let us know your thoughts on
It's for the
that.
articles, man.
It's for the articles. Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we've got more to get into, but before we do, we are going to take a quick break to thank one of the sponsors of this show, the good folks over at Fume. Check them out.
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Fume. Quitting cold turkey is great in theory, but you and I both know it's way more difficult than that. And that's why there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some fake online promises. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume. And they look at the problem in a different way. Instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavor-air device that does just that. See, instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. I personally didn't know what to expect when I first got my Fume. I mean, I've never liked vapes, but my goodness, the taste. The first time I tried it, I was completely sold on it. It was incredible. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 150,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use the code CAMPEA to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use the code CAMPEA to save an additional 10% off your order today.
And thank you to the folks over at Fume. Remember, guys, anytime you use those Campea codes, you're not only getting yourself a deal, but you're helping us too, so that you can supply us with loads and loads of coffee. Only coffee. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And orange juice for Ray.
Coffee.
Yeah, orange juice.
And this looks like the color of tea. So it must be tea.
It's real smooth. It's real good.
Very vanilla, cinnamony kind of tea.
Yes, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Nice flavor profile. All right, y'all. Beetlejuice is back. We've got the ghost with the most returning to the big screen. And it's not just Beetlejuice returning, it's the whole cast. Well, almost the whole cast, I should say. Certain members, for obvious reasons, have been excluded. But we've got many of the cast members coming up, including Beetlejuice himself, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this. And we finally have a poster and we've got a date. We've got a release date for this now. This is going to be coming out September 6th of this year. Woo! This movie feels like it snuck up on us.
September,
much like the poltergeist he is. Boo! He's right there. He's out to get you. We've got Winona Ryder back in the mix.
Yeah.
We've got Jenna Ortega here too.
Yeah.
We've got William Dafoe in a role that hasn't been said, but I'm assuming he's going to be taking the mantle of Charles Dietz.
No,
sure.
it actually.
Do you know?
Yeah, he's playing a deceased B-movie action star, and he is a detective in this movie. So he's a detective now, but he is a deceased B-movie action star.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've been sleeping on this news. This is amazing.
And Catherine O'Hara, you were mentioning that yesterday.
Yeah.
She's back.
Oh, I love Catherine O'Hara
Obviously,
so much.
yeah.
She'll be back as Delia.
Certain actors can't return, but
No.
Yeah,
You know.
they're busy.
For doing something. For those of you who don't know, Jeffrey Jones was the original Charles Dietz. He will not be included in this film.
Right.
Charges were pressed against him back in the day. But we've got some really great people in here. Like I was saying the other day too, I'm so excited about Winona. I'm so excited for Jenna Ortega to be joining the cast too, because she just fits this Burton-y world so well. She does a great job as Wednesday. Obviously, Golden Globe nomination for that. I think she'll blend seamlessly into here. Man, I'm pumped.
The first Beetlejuice kind of tricked me when I was a kid.
How so?
From the beginning, it was like a cool thing to me because they had that miniature set, the toy set. You know, as a kid, I really liked toys. I still do. But I was like, oh, this looks cool. And then it turned crazy when Beetlejuice showed up. I was like, what is this movie? And then when they pulled their faces apart,
oh yeah,
I had nightmares for about maybe a couple months. Who knows? I always saw that face in the corner of my room. It happens. It happens.
I think you might have seen it in Toys R Us too.
Yeah. Yeah, but this movie, I love Michael Keaton, the founder, Birdman. It's good to
Batman.
see him always getting work. And Winona Ryder too.
Yeah.
She was definitely needed in this film.
Do you guys know? Because I know there was this play. Okay.
Yeah, the musical of it?
Yeah. Do we know? Is this tied to any of that storyline, or is it just a completely different script?
I think this is a totally different thing,
All right. Well,
but I'm not sure.
That musical has gotten pretty rave reviews.
Oh,
so
absolutely. Well,
I
and
really hope the same quality returns to the sequel.
it was a weird thing with Beetlejuice too, where it didn't get the best reception, the Broadway musical, I should say, and then it kind of blew up on TikTok and had this huge resurgence where people just loved the music, loved the character, loved the reimagining of it on stage, and I do think that helped propel this.
Okay.
And obviously Michael Keaton too, popping back as Batman again, popping back up in you know, our late night shows and everything. I think that also helped fuel this. Winona Ryder, obviously, on her stint from Stranger Things. I think there's a big hunger for these folks to come back and do this IP again.
Yeah.
And then you throw Jenna into the mix, and it's a really great recipe.
What was the last thing Tim Burton has released?
Wednesday.
Oh, that Wednesday, but on the big screen?
On the big screen.
Was
oh,
it
gosh.
one of the animated
If anyone in the chat knows, I'll look it
Yeah,
up
what his
too.
most recent film was.
well, basically, I was trying to
Was it Dumbo?
ask.
Might have been.
It might have been. How do you guys feel about him as a? Are you a Tim Burton person?
I am, and I'm.
Is it like one of
I
those
mean-
names where you're like Tim Burton's direct? I'm going.
I think he's
an
an amazing director. I think his overall amount, like his overall portfolio of work, is incredible.
Yes.
I remember years ago at it wasn't MoCA. I think it was the L.A. County Museum of Art.
Oh, his
LACMA.
exhibit? Yeah.
His exhibit.
I went to
and I
MoMA
saw
in New
the
York.
poster from it. Mm-hmm. That exhibit was incredible. I also
It's so good.
Yeah, I also did. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? 2001: A Space Odyssey, The Shining. Why can't I think of that director? One of the great Kubrick. I also went to the Kubrick one there too.
Fun.
But that Tim Burton one was amazing.
It's so good.
And I love his work. I love his sensibilities, but there are certain movies like Alice in Wonderland or whatever that just, you know,
Yeah, Dumbo didn't
they were
really
misses,
do it for me.
you know?
I mean, I have to like Tim Burton. Look at my face. I look like I was made out of clay by him. Like, that's probably my creator. I don't know. Right? I love his aesthetic. I love how he does things. Big Fish, I think, is one of the most beautiful films ever
Oh
made.
man, that movie gets me every time.
Oh, absolutely.
At the end,
Yeah.
I remember when that movie came out. My friend's father had just passed, so he was like a sobbing mess next to me. I'm like, oh, maybe this wasn't the best movie to take him to at this moment. But I love Big Fish.
It's a beautiful, beautiful film.
I've never heard of it. So.
Oh yeah, that's great.
It is
But
a
it's gonna
beautiful
make you-
watch.
yeah,
it's gonna be intense, Ray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it really about a fish?
No, well,
okay.
there's
What?
no. It's like it's an
Like Tall
analogy,
Tales
but-
and
yeah,
stuff.
Tall
Yeah,
Tales.
I'll look into it if I.
But it's a story about the main story is like a relationship of a son and his father.
Okay.
So you'll appreciate it, but it's definitely going to probably make you
Oh
tear
yeah,
up.
probably.
Yeah. It's one to definitely have the Kleenex around. Get the sniffies.
Oh no, I just use my socks.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I just take
different
off my
movie.
socks and-
Different movie, Ray.
It's like they're all going into the laundry, so it doesn't matter.
Oh man.
Where's that popcorn bin? I can't. I thought I saw Ray with that last.
Ran out of here with it.
Why are there socks in this popcorn bucket?
in there? Ew.
I told him this was a sad movie.
Man,
Why are they so stiff? That's what I don't
anyone in the
understand.
chat, when if you see that those Dune popcorn buckets go on sale, please let us know. Or let Chris know, because I think she wants it. the
Oh
most.
yeah, of all the people here, I'm
The
the one who's
most.
going to use the popcorn bucket the
Yeah,
most.
the most. She loves Dune. She wants to watch it 3 times in a row, right? Oh, sorry.
to
We're done with
back
this
to
topic. I think we hit the.
I'm going to watch it over and over again.
This is where we went off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the moment.
That's what we do. It's fine.
Gonna have
gonna be
some
hard to cut
more
this one.
tea here.
Exactly. Guys, how you feel about this poster? Did this raise your level of excitement? Were you like me and you were like, oh, I barely knew anything about this movie going into it? So excited about William Dafoe's role? So excited about these other people returning? Or are you kind of, do we really need to do a sequel to Beetlejuice? Because you could also totally feel that way too. Let us know how you feel about it in the comments, all right?
Did we mention the new title to it too? Did we talk? Beetlejuice is the new title to the
Which makes
confirmed
sense
title.
because
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Beetlejuice twice.
Just put it.
Also, fun fact: I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
I learned it on a podcast I was listening to. They had Willem Dafoe on, so his name is Willem, right? And a lot of times people say William, but actually, I learned that William is his name. Willem was a nickname as a kid, and he said William just didn't sound right when he put it on like his like anytime he put his name in for a film or whatever. So he kept his stage name as Willem.
I do like Willem better for him.
Oh.
So you're not wrong.
great.
No one's wrong in saying William Dafoe.
No,
So
I make
next
it a
time
point.
somebody
But
does
it-
that,
Willem
it's
is-
Willem,
Yeah,
you can tell him to shut up.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Say, I'm
William
calling
to
him by his
me.
birth name.
It was really funny because he's like, like Bob didn't sound right, or it's like, I'll just go with Will.
Bob Dafoe. That's a very different life for him. He'd be selling real estate.
Well, when you're like the A-list actor and you're like hanging out with him, they're probably like, hey, Bobby.
That's fair.
We're never gonna cross that barrier.
My brother my brother got to hang out with Anthony Hopkins a couple times when he was living here, and he would always refer to him as Tony, because that's what he told him to call him. And so he'd be like, yeah, me and Tony were hanging out, and I would always just be aghast of, that's Sir Anthony Hopkins. You don't do that. No, let's be called Tony. Yeah. So it happens when you're friends with the VIPs.
Yep.
All right, guys, let us know how you feel about Beetlejuice, though. Sweet. Now, let's talk about our last topic of the day, the topic that Ray and I are obviously the most excited about. When I came in, it was like, well, this is the only thing that matters. So they released that tasty little teaser, that little snippet earlier of that Sonic 3 dropping in December and everything. But even better than getting a Sonic 3.
There was a snippet?
Oh, yeah. If you follow Ben Schwartz, like I do.
Okay. I'll check it out.
I love him. Oh, he's got COVID right now. Speedy recovery, Ben Schwartz. I was going to go to his improv show this weekend, but they had to reschedule it since he's got COVID.
You should actually go to his place and give him chicken soup.
Well, that's a whole other level of crazy, right? That I am not ready to embark on.
Just call him Bobby.
That's a nickname for Ben, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby Schwartz, what's up?
Oh, this was today.
Yeah. Dropped it this morning. It's really, really a great little thing. But in that even, you get that Robotnik laugh at the end of this little snippet, right? And it appears that Jim Carrey, despite saying he's retiring, despite saying he's not going to be acting anymore, he's coming back to be Robotnik in Sonic 3.
Maybe this is going to be his final.
He was like, Shadow is in this? I'm coming back. I'm pretty sure that was his
hope that
reason.
he was like, oh, shit, I got to come back.
Yeah, come on.
He saw that scene and went, oh, I'm still in it. I keep trying to get back out. They keep pulling me in.
No, I actually think Jim Carrey was watching the show when we were doing the movies that we were looking forward to in 2024. And I said, there's only one movie for me.
There really
Sonic
is.
3.
Yeah.
So I think he heard that and he's like, you know what? I need to come back for the people. Come back as Dr. Robotnik, surviving that blast or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, because we had it so that, Robotnik's body wasn't found.
Yep.
So you did have an out potentially to either remove this as the villain entirely, do a recasting, have him become cybernetic or something like that. You could have done a whole bunch of other things. But I feel like Sonic and Robotnik, it's PB&J. You got to have them both. You got to have them in
There's
there.
nobody who could play this character like Jim Carrey.
He's so good in this role. It's Jim Carrey just Jim Carreying the most and in the best way.
Yeah, and so how it works.
It's so great. I think it's just the perfect amount of cartoon villainy and over-the-topness.
And also, I mentioned earlier, Kristen Ritter was just confirmed to be added to this movie.
That is very exciting.
There's speculation. I think she's going to be Amy Rose, but there's a lot of people.
So she's going to be voicing a character. She's not going to be in the live.
Yeah, I think she's going to be voicing a character.
Okay.
But a lot of people are saying she might be Rogue the Bat. I've never heard of this character.
Yeah, Rogue the Bat is this very weirdly sexy little bat character in here. She's drawn exactly like everybody else. She just has bat wings, but she usually wears a bustier. And she has a lower voice.
The reason why I don't go there is because Rogue the Bat seems like such a character further out in the story than Amy Rose. I mean the teams, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, they're going to need to get a female in there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Amy Rose might be in
I like
this
Amy
movie
Rose
too.
in the mix. I think that'd be really, really great. If it is our lovely little Rogue the Bat, though, we do have the opportunity for her to kind of do a Knuckles situation of villain, ally, playing for themselves, helping us out. Whose best interest is that? I do like the idea of Amy, though, just because then we have Sonic with a potential gal pal.
Yeah.
I like that for him.
Yeah.
And especially because sometimes Amy gets, the shit stick in some of the stories and they treat her really poorly. And I like that character.
Yeah. I
I'm a
can't
fan.
wait. And then, of course, he's coming right here.
Yes.
I cannot wait for this movie. I love Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't care what anyone says. But of course,
There's
we
Amy
probably
Rose.
all know.
Yeah.
We all know that they're going to end up being friends probably at the end of it, or in some sort of better terms.
Him and Dr. Robotnik?
No. Sonic and Shadow.
Oh, yeah.
I've been watching Sonic Prime and I've been enjoying it. It's kind of for kids a little bit, but
It's a fun show though.
it is. I do like Shadow's appearances in there. He's like the straight-headed one, it seems.
Yeah.
And Sonic seems to be like, I'm just gonna go at this. I don't care. You know, he's kind of the voice of reason a little bit. Maybe like the Vegeta. I call him somewhat a Vegeta to Sonic. And like
I like that
I see him
comparison.
come off in that way. They're not exactly the same, but it feels like he's like a big brother to Sonic in Sonic Prime.
Was James Marsden in the second one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
James-
haven't seen any of them.
What?
I have to see them.
They're so great.
At least the first one.
The first one is so good.
Yeah,
the first
it'll
one's
grab
so
you.
good.
You'll know whether you're gonna stick with this
Yeah.
or not.
I will. The second one, they did lose me with the B plot, the wedding.
Yeah, I fell asleep during that part.
I wasn't
But
thrilled
every
with that.
Knuckles and Sonic showdown, especially when they
Yeah.
went to the map of when they did that view of like how a video game was. I
Yeah.
thought that was so awesome.
That was really
It's
cute.
not a great trajectory. I'm looking at it. It was 465 million for Sonic One
Mm-hmm.
and 405 for Sonic Two.
What was the budget?
It
on that?
dropped 60 million.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You have to look the budgets up.
Okay.
But it dropped 60 million. So, is this going to be sub 400 or does this?
I mean, hopefully Paramount, because this has been kind of their, to borrow from the lore, it's been their emerald. This has been very, very sought after. It's made them quite a bit of money, you know, in the films, but also in merchandising, as we've discussed before. Merchandising is how so many of these movies really blow up. Paramount needs wins, and they were talking about making a whole cinematic universe around Sonic,
Yeah.
right? Doing this, the Knuckles television series, continuing on these films, doing different spin-offs. So hopefully with this third one, they learned from the second, because everyone seemed to really enjoy the Tails edition and those moments with Sonic when we got back to focusing on Knuckles. And while,
Shows 90 to 110 million.
yeah,
So
not, you know, James Marsden is great, and I love him as Donut Lord. I love his relationship with Sonic, but I feel like we have to focus on that
The team now.
the team, and we have to, I like him as the found family and enjoying those kinds of moments of him feeling like he has parents, not necessarily the shenanigans of the extended family.
Right.
Even though they're all phenomenal actors, it just doesn't feel in place with this.
Look, I don't expect much from like money. I hope it gets, especially if it's good, it gets a lot of money. I'm not worried about that. I'm just happy that we're getting the Sonic 3, and like with Paramount, like possibly going on sale, I do give them, you know, I do like that they put properties like that at the forefront, even if it doesn't make them the most money. I do like that they showcase Sonic. It was their it was what they started off with it at the last CinemaCon, was that Sonic presentation. I just like how they love. It seems like the company loves these properties that I
Yeah.
love, and they don't, like you said, it dropped off in the second Sonic 2. Like the money
you're right.
dropped
Yeah.
off.
60 mil.
But they're still going through with Sonic 3. I know that's not a good for business. Maybe
No,
not
they're just
shareholders.
completing out the trilogy anyway. I mean,
But I do like the way Paramount appreciates the properties that they own.
For sure.
Because they always give them that love. Because imagine another company buying Paramount. Sonic
Chris, that could be
may
why-
not be their highest priority. They
Yeah.
might go straight to video.
that could be why Paramount is on the chopping block. now,
Yeah, but you know what?
Potentially.
I'm going to enjoy it, hopefully, while it lasts. Who knows what's going to happen with Paramount.
Yeah. We got a great question in the chat from Mischievous. Do you think that Maria Robotnik's going to be in this? Because she and Shadow have such a tight relationship?
I if they go that route,
Yeah.
yes, obviously. But I don't know how. Oh, man, this movie seems like it's gonna be really long if they go through that. But from the end scene, they found the coordinates right.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be like a lot of people's first exposure to Shadow, so they could introduce him in a different way. But
That's true.
I think yes, she will.
Yeah. Because the Maria storyline is also pretty complicated,
It's
too.
and it's
Like,
very.
She's an estranged cousin of Robotnik. She's got this neurological disease that is slowly, like, killing her. She's terminally ill.
Could Kristen Ritter be?
That honestly, that could be a potential thing, especially since they're cousins. It's not, you know, Jim Carrey's her
Right.
dad or grandpa
know
or
what?
something. That could be
Maybe
a thing
that
here.
might, they could make that work.
That could be
I
fun.
could see
That could
her
be
playing
interesting.
her. yeah, but I'm looking forward to this. It's scheduled to release. Let me see. I have it on this, but my mouse is not working.
So,
December of 2024.
Someone had just told me that Sonic 2 made more money, but actually, so it made more money domestically, but not worldwide. So Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one in 2020, made 148 domestic, and it was like 190 domestic for part 2. So domestically, okay, yes, it did make about 40 million more, but worldwide, it's still internationally, it dropped enough where overall it still dropped 60 mil. So
Come on, let's go. Let's all go
Get on
see
board. We want Sonic to collect all those rings.
Yep.
Get all those Chaos
I cannot
Emeralds.
wait to see the first trailer to this.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
I'm really, really pumped. And having Jim Carrey back in the role of Eggman, I think only makes this even more exciting. But that's just us, guys. That's just our opinion. Do you have strong feelings about this? Are you excited about Jim Carrey returning? Were you like, hey, Quentin Tino's sticking to his guns of having to do a final movie? Why aren't you, Jim? How do you feel about it?
Quentino?
Quentino? That's what I call him.
Quintino.
Quentin. Yeah.
Don Cheeto Juice. I don't know. I was trying to fit that joke in the Beetlejuice segment.
John Cheeto.
Cheeto
I love
Juice.
it. I'm
Cheeto
here
Juice.
for it.
That's
perfect.
Gonna fit it.
It's good tea today.
Yeah.
Y'all, let us know what you think about all of this movie news in the comments. We are going to get to your questions in just a moment. But before we do, we are first going to take a quick break, and we are going to thank the folks over at Mint Mobile.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
And thank you to Mint Mobile for being the sponsor of this episode of the Non-Campea Show. All right, guys, let's get into those questions.
We got, first up, Josiah Barnhart, who says Deadpool 3 should be called Deadpool XXX. Perfect play on the X-Men and the Filthy. That XXX is actually like the movie XXX, though. They use that logo, the small, the large, and the small. P.S. Big fan since 2012. You are legends to me. Thanks, man. I didn't come on until 2014, but
yeah, that's when I started working.
So you're on the. Oh, really? So he's old school, man.
Yeah. I was 2019.
2019.
Yeah. Nice little stint before the pandemic.
I came in 2014. We were still in the closet at AMC.
And that's
in
when
Burbank.
I actually left for a little bit.
You left for a little bit, and I grabbed your job.
I actually thought I found a job with health insurance and whatever, and I was settling down, and they're like, "Oh, you're the last one hired. We're gonna have to let you go."
And then you came
after.
Back. But then I took over producing and editing roles, so they kept me.
Yeah.
After I bought my Disneyland Magic Key whatever pass, and I came in Monday, and they're like, we gotta have to cut down. You said we're not gonna do this by work or whatever. It's just you were the last one hired, so bye. And then I was like,
been there.
Yeah. Man, a job with health insurance though. What would that be like?
I know,
That'd
man.
be
Health
amazing.
insurance is so expensive.
Yes.
What we had it with Collider.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
And I had it with Fine Brothers, but
Man, I'm living that covered California life, baby.
Yeah, me too.
well, that's
now.
me
Cover
too.
California.
That's me too. All right, woo woo. Dr. Stinky.
Dr. Stinky.
Has anyone realized how much Timothy Chalamet and Natalie Dyer look alike? They are twins. It's crazy.
Yo, if you see pictures of them next to each other, it truly is mind-boggling.
Boy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Natalie
The
Dyer is.
sister on Stranger Things.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
They're both beautiful people.
Oh boy.
But yeah, they look like they should be twins.
Oh my god. Here it is. Yeah. Oh boy.
Ray's just slowly losing his mind.
Oh.
Well, they just look like brother and sister. It's
Yeah.
fine. It
Yeah,
happens.
it's crazy, but There was a let's story time a little bit. There was a
Okay.
girl I was
Well.
dating, and then it was,
Oh, just let me get my.
and
tea
then I
here.
met her
Sorry.
brother, and then he looked exactly like her, and me and her brother became good friends, and then I just couldn't unsee that anymore.
Oh.
It was one of those things where
I've had situations where
it
like
affected me.
I thought a girl
where
was
I couldn't
cute,
Look at her,
and then I'm like, oh my god, she looks like her brother.
yeah. So
And I was like, yeah.
it has some sort of effect sometimes, though. Point is, never be friends with your whatever person's
Don't be
siblings,
friends with your significant
especially
other
if they look
siblings.
like each other.
Don't even look at them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing my brother and I don't look that much alike. He goes out in the sun. He's got pigment.
Renetta
But that's a good call right there.
writes, "Happy Groundhog Day, y'all. Is that today?"
Is it?
So did the groundhog?
What's Puxatawny Phil doing?
Groundy
It is
the
Groundhog
Hedgehog.
Day.
Yeah. Groundy.
I'm gonna check
Well,
things
it's Groundhog Day again. Great movie. One of my favorite Bill Murray films. I love the dinner scene when he's says "we," French for yes, yes, we. What is your favorite scene or quote from the movie? Bring on the filthy. I mean, honestly, like it's not even like I just love when he does say that. He's like, "Well, it's Groundhog's Day again." I just
Yeah,
love that.
everything in that movie is fabulous. Also, Puxatawny Phil did see his shadow, so his prediction is there will be 6 more weeks of winter.
All right, it seems that way. We're getting hit.
I think that's what it said at least.
We're getting hit with a bunch of rain
Did I get the
in
correct
California,
one?
and it's going to go across the south
Maybe that's
for like the
it.
next week plus.
Yep.
Apparently, California's supposed to get as
Oh.
much rain in like a few weeks as it does in a year.
Wait, no, I read the wrong one. He saw it's spring.
Okay, so we're not
I mean,
going to get that
50-50
rain.
chance.
Let's
We're
go
still
on.
getting that rain.
Either way, we're testing the weather on a groundhog.
Yeah.
So very scientific.
Listen, it is science. So.
I mean, I love Puxatawny Phil.
TJ Slab Dragon Watson with a $20 super chat. Thank you. I love your posts too, man. You have like a great collection of comics.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my comic collection has hit the milestone of 2,500 CGC slabs.
Dang! Woo!
Man, you're killing it, man.
Thank you so much for
Your
that
slab
generous
game is
donation.
killing it.
Yeah,
I know,
'cause
man.
you could have done some damage with that $20 donation. So
I
thank you very,
know.
very much. And your collection is astounding. That's
Check out
wonderful.
the slab on that guy.
Yeah.
Slabs on that
Slabs
guy.
for days.
All right. So Sam Fisher writes, "What is everyone's biggest movie pet peeve? Mine is when you have a few to several biologically related characters that look nothing alike."
Oh, that one doesn't bother
I
me.
can
Yeah.
see that, but it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
ahead.
just from my experience, Logan and his brothers look nothing alike. They don't look alike at all. They all have the same parents, allegedly. No, they do. I know, Mary.
Mine is just, it's always been, oh, we're a group of people, which I would actually do if like I had to stay like at a haunted house. I would take a group of people. Why is there always that person, or they always go by themselves somewhere? They don't need to, or they don't wait until morning.
you got to push the
go
story
to that.
along. Sometimes you got to give
I
the
don't
character
like
a
that
nudge.
because if you're a group, you stay with, you at least take someone with you. It's always, oh, you guys go right there.
No, it's fine. I'll be by myself. I'll be fine.
I hate that. I just hate it.
I hate when someone's brushing their teeth in a scene and they just spit in the sink. But there's like, because it's probably not hooked up to plumbing or whatever, but whatever
they-
reason, they're
yeah.
trying to cut the scene short. They just spit in the sink and then they're done.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, yo, first off, rinse that down the sink, but also
Yeah.
rinse your mouth out because spitting once doesn't do it unless you weren't using toothpaste. It really grosses me out. There's a scene in Pulp Fiction where she spits in the sink. There's a scene recently that happened again in Dumb Money. Where he's brushing his teeth and he just spits in the sink and then goes to bed. I'm like, in what world?
No.
I'd be like, we can't be in a relationship ever again.
Unless they're in a rush.
No, I don't
Still
care.
get that stuff out. I have that
yeah.
with when people are washing dishes in a movie and they just put it on the drying rack, still covered in soap. Like you're an animal. And then people not saying goodbye on the phone, I think is so weird and off-putting. And I understand that takes a moment, but I think it's, I think it's so
Dude,
rude.
okay, hang on.
My God.
Hang on. Okay.
Well, I would never, if we were on the phone, Ray, and I was just all of a sudden like, yeah, make sure that's done. And I like hung up on you, you'd be like, what a
No,
bitch.
no. I'll be like, oh, she never wants
She
to
was
say
busy.
goodbye to me.
Yeah.
See?
Okay, so
I mean, that's sweet.
you literally read my mind because this was what I was gonna say first, but I went with the toothpaste, and I was good. This is my follow up. So I can't believe, Dominic, you brought this up. I hate when someone picks up a cup of coffee that is clearly empty. It drives me nuts. They'll have like a especially if they're like in a police station and it's like a styrofoam cup. And it's just like, well, they drink, but when they set it down, you can tell there's no weight to it in their hand.
Yeah.
And they set it down, it's like click, clink. It's just like obviously a clear glass, but when you have like a mug or something like full of wonderful tea, Dominic, you nailed it.
Yeah. That's why when I do my self-tapes, when I do my auditions, I fill up a cup if I have to have a prop. Because I think it looks stupid. When you're just like, wee.
I think you're just angry at the Starbucks cup.
I'm usually on set and I'm like,
On
this
Game of
looks
Thrones,
stupid.
So dumb.
Who's the director
Oh
anyway?
my gosh, hate it.
Yeah. Well,
Can't stand it.
I get a lot of work.
You guys like pay attention to the movies way
I should have
too
been an
much.
actor at some point in my life. I would have had fun. All right. Or a stand-up comedian. Where do we leave off? What's everyone's biggest pet peeve? Okay, TJ Perry. In Wahlberg's new King Arthur, the dog goes home with the team. The happiest of endings after an insane story that ESPN aired years ago. Happy balling. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I said it might be a tough watch, and only because the part of the trailer where it seems like the dog gets bullied by more vicious dogs because it's in the pound.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I could just turn away and not watch that scene. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I've heard it has a happy ending, which is great.
Do you know about the website Does the Dog Die?
No.
It tells you like
It tells you if
scared or
any
not.
like anything bad happens in the movie. Basically, you can look up a movie, and you can just be like, "Hey, I just need to know, like,
Trigger warning.
Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah.
Like, does that donkey die?"
Well, moving on.
Oh, something happens.
Raymond Verrata writes, Carl Weathers, I last saw him at Fan Expo in December. Man, he was so full of life.
Yeah.
So it's so crazy.
It really, really
Yeah.
is.
I'm still a little shook from that news.
I
I
know.
just don't know how to react. I've been
It just kind of popped up.
just
It's
a little
really
bit off
sad.
right now. So
Really sad. All right. Harry Bagel says, HB loves BBC. Harry Bagel loves the Batman Beyond
Yay,
crew.
Harry Bagel.
We love Harry Bagel.
I know.
Yeah.
Who's
bagel big
y'all's
enough for
favorite
the
Star
baby?
Wars character?
Darth
Okay.
Maul.
Well,
Max
you definitely
Rebo.
love
Maul.
Maul. Was that ironic, or you love?
I mean, I do love Max Rebo, and I do want a spin-off series following him touring the galaxy.
All right.
But I mean, probably my actual favorite character is Leia, which I know is basic, but I love her.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
my
first
basic would be
badass one to
Luke,
see. Yeah.
but I'll have to think about that. Let me think
What about
that.
off character then?
What do
We
you mean
won't go
off
with the
character?
main. What is there? Any,
that's what I
like,
have to think
abstract-
about.
Yeah, fucking
abstract
Max
character that-
Rebo.
Max Rebo
Or,
is you?
or Salacious Crumb.
Hey, Jorge, welcome to Actor Man. Thank you.
Hey! Enjoy.
We got Michael Gonzalez as Obi-Wan. Oh, Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan. That's
mean,
a good
he's
call.
great.
Yeah.
By the way, your Michael Gonzalez's little avatar there, or whatever you want to call it. Great scene in the upcoming Dune.
Riding that sandworm.
Yep.
Woo woo.
All right, I'll give you an actual answer on like an off, like not Luke, but I got to think about it.
Yeah.
All right, Venom Carnate says
We won't end the show until you give us that. Though.
No, we'll just sit here. No,
72 hours
seriously, he paid for
today.
this. He's
Yeah.
getting his answer, whether I have to sit here or not.
Exactly.
All right. Good afternoon, guys. What are your thoughts on the removal of some character arcs for
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
yeah, that's
action
what
and
we
how the
touched on.
showrunners believe it needs to be like Game of Thrones? Thoughts? But what do you mean by Game of Thrones? So they left because it needs to be like darker like Game of Thrones? I mean, first off, do we even know that one character arc like
So supposedly
confirmed?
there was a report of changing some of the storylines. I need to follow up on that. I'm honestly trying to just go into this of seeing Avatar for what it is. I'm gonna watch the trailers. I followed the account on Instagram.
They might have
but-
even just like recreated that scene for other reasons, because here's what doesn't make sense to me. It isn't like being woke or whatever, because just because he says that, because his character learns from that
Yeah.
situation. So that'd be a learning situation. So something tells me there's another reason they possibly, if it's even confirmed, rewrote that scene or not. But at the end of the day, it's a series, so it's going to be one scene in a series. Are you really going to like remember that?
Yeah. Well, this goes back to what we always talk about with adaptation too, and I've obviously been guilty of this. Thor: Love and Thunder, with the first season of Umbrella Academy. Of why isn't this exactly a shot-for-shot remake of that thing I love? Well, because then I can just go watch that thing I love. Like they did it with Psycho. That's a shot-by-shot remake, and I don't like that. I'll just go watch the original one. So we got to remember that these people, even though they are taking something that we love as fans, they do get to make it their own. They do get to try other things because also certain things don't translate from medium to medium. So I feel like we just need to take a step back from the stories being reported. And I know that's rich coming from a movie news show, but maybe we just let things happen and maybe we see how we feel about it.
Okay, so the concern here is that the showrunner of the Netflix series stated that they changed some of the storylines and themes to aim at fans of the HBO's series Game of Thrones.
Oh, so it's it's actually a little darker then.
Yeah, so it seems to have rubbed the wrong fans of the actual.
I can see that. I mean, there's people in the chat saying fake Avatar. Again, we haven't even seen this though, so how can you say something's fake?
And not fake Avatar. Okay, fake Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because like unless you actually just only like the black and white comics, then everything's fake Ninja Turtles since the 80s.
But I understand.
I'm right.
No.
It's lonely being right. John was right, and it's lonely, and he's lonely too.
There's parts where if you baby something, like if you love something a lot, you're gonna want to baby.
They're gonna be hypersensitive to it, but obviously they have the rights. They don't have the rights to where someone can change it, so that's their own issue.
The difference is just hopefully you could be open to seeing a different retelling. You know what I mean? Like Mutant Mayhem wasn't my Ninja Turtles. It was far from the Ninja Turtles I know.
Yeah.
But I was open to seeing it because if you keep seeing the same thing over and over, the same story, it gets repetitive a little bit. You could change the way they look, and that's why I'm always open to different interpretations. But I do see how some people could feel it's disrespectful, especially if it's had such a long running show where particular themes, and they want to see particular themes and storylines from it that have been changed to please a different audience than the actual audience that loved the show. I see how people could get offended by that or be put off by that.
I can see that too. I mean, and you guys know I'm a huge Avatar fan, so much so what I did before I came here was I was making videos on things like Steven Universe and Avatar, and Nickelodeon sent me my Steelbook as a present, right? I love this show, but I think, we've talked about this too, of how do we get other fans excited about this series? Can we bring people in so they do go back and go, oh, actually, I really like the original one. Oh, no, I really like the spin-off comics. I love the novels.
It's a story old as time. Yeah. I mean, people only like the original 3 Star Wars. Okay. People only like the Game of Thrones novels because the shows weren't the same. People only like OG Star Trek. No names mentioned here. I mean,
who could that be?
So that being said, you can make all the fuss you want in the world, no matter what you do. Every iteration of something, whether it's Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, whatever, you're still gonna have those people who are like, it's not like the original, or it's just fan fiction. Then in my head, it doesn't matter. They're there to appeal to audiences. If the audiences don't like it, they'll get the message. If they do like it, message received.
And also, I get the frustration, but also at the same time, don't blind yourself to not giving what could possibly be just a good show in general a chance.
It feels a little unstable to me that, let's say you watched it and maybe you hated the whole thing, then fine. Let's say you watched it and there was maybe just 10% of that entire series where you're like, it wasn't like the original and I'm sticking to my guns. The creators walked away, therefore I hate it. It seems a little unstable to ignore the other 90% that you actually truthfully, you're not being honest with yourself, or you're just, I don't know. It just seems a little unstable and whatever.
Anytime you're rooting for something to fail because you like the source material, I just think that's odd as a fan.
Then go back to the source material. No one owes you anything. No. So go back to the source material, right?
Yeah. I think it's weird where I know I didn't have high hopes going into The Flash, but I was hoping it would blow my mind, right? Because I love that character.
But you have the source material.
And I can go, and it was, hey, this movie's not for me. I'm glad other people liked it, and I can go watch other things that I liked.
You got maybe you like Grant Gustin, or maybe you didn't, or maybe you just like I don't know.
All those things still exist, so you can always check it out.
Exactly, that's the point. Guys, you can find things you love about, you don't have to continue the journey with IP in all its iterations, but also you don't have to be like, if you like this, you're stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, Come on.
I know we've talked about it for a while, y'all, but just a friendly reminder, you are watching a show where we talk constantly about the subjectivity of art, of movies and television. And hopefully that's part of why you're here, is because we all have different opinions on things, and there's not a right one. There can't be a right one. Yeah. It's just an opinion. And I know we joke about it sometimes of correct. That's how you should feel. But at the end of the day, it's fun. It's fun stuff that sometimes moves you or makes you laugh or brightens your day or helps you gut through an emotional thing. So there's no right thing here. It's just what vibes with certain people. No worries.
I feel like I come off sometimes as a guy that just eats everything that's served to him, which I do look like it, but I mean,
Ray.
I mean, just be open to something different. I mean, if it ends up you don't like it, then and you gave it a shot, then that's it. Just move on, and then save all this ammunition for after when the show comes out.
Yeah.
Because then if it doesn't work, you could go back to this argument. You should have went with the storylines. You should have. Because sometimes, like comics, you can't put what's in the comics on the big screen and think it's going to work the same way. Like the Sentry, when it comes out, I know it's not going to be the Sentry I know.
Yeah.
I already know that. But I'm so excited for this movie to come out. I mean, or him to appear.
Did the creators walk away from the M. Night version?
I believe so.
Well, they just like to walk away a lot.
I think so.
But so stick with the creators or stick with the
or go watch the show.
Alternates, whatever.
The cartoon.
All right. So up next we got James Germain, who says, "Hey guys, saw the first episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith and it was really good and well written. Keep it filthy."
I am so excited to watch it because a buddy of mine, Ralphie Lopez, he's in that first episode.
Oh, nice.
I'm so excited to go see him in it. I'm really pumped about
I
that
haven't
show.
seen any trailers to this yet. I didn't see the movie, but I do like Donald Glover.
Love him.
He was like one of the surprises in The Martian. Such a small role, but he played it like so well. That character so well. So yeah, I'll probably check it out. Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Prime.
Okay, then I won't check it out then. Because I rarely watch anything on the other night. I'm sorry, Amazon. I love your service, whatever. But you got to put more stuff that's on there. That's for me. I'm going to be selfish here. You got to put more stuff that's like I want to go back there for.
Maybe it's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Maybe it is.
Maybe.
But then what after? That's the problem. The what after? Like I went the whole night the other night going through Amazon Prime. Seen it. Not into this, but it's like everyone's dilemma, right?
That's fair.
Yeah, there's bigger problems in the world. It doesn't really matter if I
But when you're being choosy about your streamers, I get it.
I ended up falling asleep with the remote in my hand, so. No, I'm not lying. Sometimes I fall asleep with cookies.
All the time too, where it's just
cookies or a remote. That's all I fall asleep with. It's like a crime scene for diabetes or something like that. Diabetes and like laziness. Yeah, he's still alive, but I think he's been hit with a laziness. Suffering from extreme laziness.
We got Jonathan Honthy who says, "Thanks for an awesome daily show to listen to." Well, you're welcome. Thanks for messaging us. Quantum of Zen with a two-parter here. Hi, Jonathan. That's me. Some of my recent posts put you behind the live stream 8-ball and stepped on other folks' questions. My apologies for that. You're an amazing producer. Thank you. And I don't want to make your job more difficult. Thanks for all you do for the community here. I appreciate the kind words.
What's he referring to?
Yeah.
I don't understand what happened.
Yeah, I don't either.
Behind the scenes stuff?
I don't either, but I look.
What was the name of the writer?
Listen, I'm getting to that. Quantum, number one, don't feel like you ever have to apologize to me. I mean, unless you said something truly like hurtful. And then secondly, man, like you guys don't make our job hard. You guys make it easy because, you interact with us and we get to play off of like your questions and you bring energy to the show. So no need to apologize. And I also appreciate the kind words. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Dr. Sinky says, "Hey, John and crew. As someone very passionate about cinema, I feel guilty for not seeing certain things. But I guess there is so much to watch. Does anyone else feel this way? Anyway, love y'all."
All the time.
I mean, I guess to a certain degree, but how guilty are you talking? Like, don't feel super guilty.
Well, I experience it every day.
Like, don't be like,
today I
done something
experienced
terrible. I mean,
Today you experienced it?
Yeah, Inglourious Bastards. Both of you guys love it and watched it. I've never even.
But I don't want you to feel guilty.
No, I'm just saying that's what I feel like I missed out. Like Godfather, I didn't watch that for the longest time until
but
we
then
were
you
had
did.
to, and that's a brilliant movie. Like it hooked
It
me
is,
from the
but
start.
when
Well,
people
okay,
freak
and-
out, I'm like, calm down.
And to your point, like, you have time, man. So if you didn't watch it all right now, you can watch it later.
But here's my problem. I'm more of a future guy.
Yeah.
When people are like,
You're about that
I
future.
love that Star
love
Wars
LA.
original trilogy.
Yeah.
My favorite Star Wars movie is Force Awakens.
Well, there you go.
I just like the new. It's hard for me to go back. I mean, I do for some of the special movies. I do need to go back for some.
I get that. If I wasn't shown something by my parents as a kid, I didn't see it typically until I actually started studying film in college, right? Because I wasn't going to the movie theater until the 90s. So when people freak out that I didn't see certain things in the 80s and things, it's just, well, I was still a tiny little sperm.
But even, yeah, but
I couldn't see a movie.
but even if he's talking about current movies or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
it's like, okay,
so many.
just because you're passionate about something, no one expects you to see everything or get involved with everything. There's only so much time and you have a life beyond your passion, right? For like film or whatever. So even if you worked in the industry, you still have a life. You have friends, you have girlfriends, husbands, wives, whatever. You have pets. You have other things that you have to get to. So don't feel guilty. You will get to it, and no one's holding you to anything.
Yeah, the slab is too big for some of us.
Yeah, unless you're slab dragon, then you have
And
too
it's
many.
Then you
slab
got,
dragon.
all the slabs.
Yeah, he's a dragon and he has a slab. Wow.
Damn.
Everything Movie Talk says, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Totally didn't expect to hear this news today. It was a shock.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
I'm
Andy,
just-
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
But I'm sorry. When me and Jonathan were at Collider, we had Dennis. Everyone knows Dennis. He had a couple of Funko Pops on his desk, and I noticed Jonathan start bringing in his Funko Pops. I was like, why am I sitting in the middle of these two guys who seem to be
We have Funko Pop
competing with
stacked.
each other with walls of Funkos? I need to get one, right? I need to get at least one so I can be a part of this team. The very first one I bought was Apollo Creed. I still have it. It's my favorite pop. I cannot believe this man passed away. I'm still shocked. I'm a little shook still. But hopefully, thoughts and prayers again to his family.
Yeah.
All right. Andy says, I was confused yesterday. How is
Sokka.
Sokka?
Yeah.
I almost said it wrong again.
No worries.
Not a bender. Dude was tapping you and Suki, and if he wanted to, Kylie and Toph. My guy was bending everyone over.
Andy, they're children. They're children, Andy. Although we do know that, like, Sokka and
Sokka was a little Sokka.
yeah,
All right.
he went off into the tent with the Kyoshi warrior.
See, now, Andy, you should feel guilty for that. But unlike Dr. Stinky,
Unlike
feeling
Dr.
guilty
Stinky.
about not seeing enough.
Andy,
Yeah. These are the
Goodness
things you
gracious.
should feel guilty
That
for,
was
folks.
way on the nose right there. Everyone got that one.
Jake Clark, rest in peace, Carl. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. He should have been nominated for Rocky. Loved him in Predator and Mando as well. Guzman says, thoughts on Larry David attacking Elmo on live TV? I thought it was hilarious. He didn't even attack him. All he did was like grab him, and then he like fake punched, but didn't even make contact.
Was this like a new episode?
It was
or
just a
something?
bit. It was just a bit on like a news show.
Daily Show?
On
He
the
didn't
Today
like
Show.
go off the rails and attack Elmo. My gosh,
Elmo
an
was
inanimate object, by the way.
Elmo's
but-
Twitter was on fire yesterday.
oh well, because Elmo did like a little like
How are you doing today?
Elmo wants to know how
And
everyone's
people
doing.
like trauma dumped on him.
yeah. And then Elmo chose to react sweetly and was like, "Oh, I should ask more."
Yeah,
Mental
no,
health is
and then he
important.
also got a bunch of the Sesame Street to reply. And,
Yeah.
it just shows you how tough life is for a lot of people here.
It's hard out
right
there
now.
for an Elmo.
Well, whether it's the economy or things like that, it's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are having a tough time. So I hope everyone can get through whatever things that they're dealing with. I certainly deal with my things too. Like I don't blast it out loud. I'm like one that if I have a problem, I'm gonna take care of myself. Like my dad, it's like don't I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm just gonna go head on, try to rid it. It's just the way I am. But there's other people that really do need their friends, love from others. So if people are reaching out, you gotta at least try to be there for them and make sure they're okay, because people are gone the next day and out of nowhere, you know. So Carl Weathers, you know, like just you know, just try to get through it. Yeah, let's turn into a really philosophical, therapeutic.
Elmo getting strangled to this.
No, but just reading, because I actually went onto that Twitter and I actually read some of the people that were,
okay.
And it's half of them kind of felt like maybe they're just joking just to tease Elmo. But let's imagine everyone was truthful. There's a lot of people who need help out there right now, and let's hope everyone gets through it. Hopefully, living here becomes better, because it's tough right now.
Yeah.
It's expensive to live here.
It's a dark and very, very expensive timeline.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So,
Jonathan, no.
There you go. I'm kind of lost as to
Yeah,
what we're talking
Don
about.
Cheeto Juice.
I
Cheeto
appreciate
juice,
the positivity. Guzman, oh no, we read
No, I
you.
keep
Gene Check writes, what do you call a whale without undies? A free willy. But, you know, if the whale was a willy, but the whale is...
No, Chris, you're giving him that.
Yeah, the structure
you're
on this
giving
was-
me. Oh,
I don't know,
wow,
Gene.
that's a way level.
Listen, Gene, I want you to work with... Where am I going? I want you to work
Work
with
for
Andy
Chris.
a little bit on your guys' material. I think if you guys... Look,
We can workshop some stuff,
Andy
fellas.
and Gene, it could be the new comedy team.
Ooh.
You know?
And Gene.
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
And Gene.
Could be the new Bob Hope and Bing
Gene
Crosby
D.
of our time. You know? Andy and Gene.
No, I love the jokes. I don't care what anyone else says.
And then we got Venom Carnate again, who says, still excited for live action
Avatar.
Avatar. Every time I see this, I think of my brain is saying Atlantis.
Yeah.
See you at the February tune up, Chris.
Oh,
February
this
tune
is
up.
probably
What is February tune
this is
up?
probably Rob. This is one of my students.
Okay.
We do this thing.
Oh, you like a voice tune up?
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
okay.
So once a month, there's just because acting classes are really expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's dumb. So that you can make your agents happy, I do this thing with my students that's just the tune up. So it's like $20 a month. You get a 2-hour class. And that way we all can meet up, hang out. Voiceover is really lonely too. So you get to just like hang out with other voice actors from all over the country. And it's super fun.
And just because they wrote in exclusive on this show, Chris is going to read your report card, buddy.
There you go.
All A's, all A's. If it is Rob, so we did a class called Dungeons and Dialects, where we basically kind of do a D&D campaign, but then we play around with exertion noises from video games, being specific about how fighting noises would sound if you were doing video game acting, and then working on dialects while improvising, so that you kind of just don't think so hard about it. And Rob killed it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was a tiefling who was a Southern gentleman. Oh, it was so good.
I could do that.
It was really good. Hit me.
Southern gentleman.
I love it.
Dialect. I still sound Filipino. It doesn't matter.
That's okay. You can work with Logan.
No. I think I'm ready to go to the big show already.
Already?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm going to skip all the tutorials.
So Southern
I'm gonna get in
Gentleman,
there.
was he going like the harder edge of like the Georgia?
The
Southern-
very Georgia
or-
one, yeah.
or-
The molasses out of your mouth one.
But not like Virginia.
No.
I love the stately Virginia.
Oh, Stately, Virginia is fun.
Yeah.
It's a little puffed up. That's a good stuff.
All about this.
That's
That's my voice. Every time I hear myself when Jonathan's editing the video and I hear my voice, all I hear is because like I just hate
He has
my voice.
he deals with a lot of self.
Yeah. There's a little self-confidence issues there.
Well, we're gonna move over to our members here.
Woohoo.
Blackadder says, "Hi, John and crew. With Henry Cavill being in Argyle just 5 minutes, do you consider it to be false advertising?" No, I consider it a disappointment or disappointing.
I love
but-
that Ray and I both learned that at the exact same time.
Yeah, but I mean, we also realized
What?
that he was a fictional character, like a meta-fictional character in the
Yeah.
film. So I didn't expect him to be like
my-
half and half,
Yeah.
but I did expect like maybe 20 minutes,
Probably.
maybe 15,
Yeah.
3 times as much.
5
Yeah.
minutes?
That's
probably. Oh man, because I wanted to
He's
see
getting
that
hot
flat
on the
top.
collar. He's
I
like,
wanted to see that flat top all for a longer time.
Yeah, we get it for
Yeah.
5 or 6 minutes. So there you go. I don't know if it's a spoiler. It's gotten pretty panned reviews, guys. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just part of it. Is like he doesn't appear much in it. We don't talk about what happened
Yeah.
or to the donkey.
that poor donkey.
CJ Rebirth says, "I'm excited for the Avatar Netflix series, but I'm also seeing why the OG creators left. They apparently taking out stuff from the OG first season that shows Aang and as is just a kid is like if The Last of Us hadn't included Ellie reading the pun book to Joel or the magazine car scene. Well, again, I guess they've seen more of the movie than we have, so I guess I could take it on faith that that's what that, you know, and they've seen the script either way. We haven't seen the whole film. To me, and this might sound a little cold, it's like, okay, you're the original creators, and someone else had said, well, if I was the original creator and someone changed my stuff, I'd run out in a huff too. But at the same time, you sold off your creation with the ability for others to make changes, so that you should have then stuck to your guns and not sold it with those rights.
But I understand what he's saying now. I understand what the gripe is.
Yeah.
If a lot of the show was Aang growing up, like I always, when we talk about Spider-Man and they want to reboot it, how I always say, I want to see him in high school again, like a longer period. Because I love that part of the Spider-Man thing, right?
I'm the opposite. I prefer
so I get
Spider-Man
why
post-college.
if the Aang's growing up as a kid and being a child is a big part of the animated series, and they completely wipe that off and just start with him coming from the sky or whatever we saw in the trailer.
But we don't know.
I get it. I get it. I get if that was the part that you liked about the animated series the most, and they totally skip it. I get it. But you know what? Me, I don't even have a One Punch Man live action. You know, I applaud Netflix for even actually attempting to bring these animated series to live action. That's what I'll give them at least, because I think they're the ones that are, if there is going to be a One Punch Man live action, it's going to be on Netflix. I'm pretty sure there's no other.
No one else is trying to get in that game.
Yeah. So
well, look, you either got to stick to your gun. I don't know how the structure works with their ownership. They created it, but you either stick to your guns and you hold out for the deal that you like, or you sold the rights, and in those rights it says we can change certain aspects. So I mean, you either know the deal you're getting in or you don't. I don't know.
Well, and you got to remember too, guys, Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's mostly killer, but there is filler. There are filler episodes in there, and there are things that you can skip. And so I do think it makes sense if we do remove some of those that are some of the goofier episodes, but we're not going to get away. It is impossible, in my opinion, and I'm saying this again without having seen the show. You can't get away from the fact that they're kids because they're kids. They purposefully cast people who it wasn't this like, everyone's not the over 18 to look younger. The kid playing Aang is a kid.
Wait,
you know?
when does it start showing?
So
Avatar.
we can't jump that because it is being played by people who look like children and teenagers. Now we might take away some of the goofy stuff, and maybe when I watch it, I'll feel totally differently about this and be like, I can't believe they didn't put in more cactus juice. I can't believe they didn't do more with the Cabbage Man. But we got to wait and see.
Oh, February 22nd.
Ooh.
We'll find pretty soon.
It's this month.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. We're not saying this to like we're on the defense for this thing.
For
like,
sure.
We don't care if you like it or don't. We hope you enjoyed it. If you don't, and you have your reasons, I respect that. I'm just saying, it comes down to the deal the creators made. So
yeah,
you know.
And I want you guys to give it the good old college try. Come on, y'all. Just tune in, and if you like it, cool. And if you don't,
then it's stupid, and you
go
move on.
binge that show.
And
go
keep
binge
in mind,
the animated series.
Keep in mind, half of the audience they're trying to get to are ones that
Have
haven't
never
even
even
seen it.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm going into this very blind. I'm gonna go back and watch. If I love anything enough, I always go back and watch the original of something.
Oh,
I always do, whether it's a book or whatever. So they have to get that. That might be more important to some places.
We're gonna get another round of this with the Harry Potter series reboot,
absolutely.
because it's a series reboot versus the movies, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get a lot of this too. So buckle up.
It's going to be just like did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire all over again? Yeah. Also, Ron H. in the chat, you said we better have Cabbage Man in there. Not only do we have Cabbage Man, we have the actor who played him voicing it. Yes, Rihanna, thank you. The voice actor who played Cabbage Man is going to be playing Cabbage Man.
I love the way Chris is pointing to the screen like it's a person that's right in front.
I mean, basically,
Well, no, 'cause I brought it
he's
to
here.
chat.
He's here with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't see that part.
Oh, no.
I just thought you were like.
All right.
I did get really excited. Of like, yeah, she knows.
So we got Mista here, 47. Oh, I just what the heck? Okay. Why do y'all think another Mario film hasn't been announced yet? Wouldn't it make more sense to capitalize on it instead of waiting? Well, you can't just announce a film if you don't have you have to have the deals in place. So you can't just announce a film if the deals aren't even in place.
And it's Nintendo.
And So you got to make sure your director's available, your writers are available, your animators are available, and you can't just say, "Hey, we're doing this," and then like 4 years later you finally get it together.
Yeah.
And you got to make sure you have the budgets. You got to make sure you have a script that's even worth putting out. There could be scripts that they have treatments, but they're like, this isn't right yet.
Yeah.
So until they have a script that they can get behind, they're not going to announce anything.
It's all about
That's putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
That's like if we said like the John Campea Show hadn't like existed yet, and we're like, we made an announcement, like, but you knew John from other iterations of like Collider or whatever. Hey, we got this new thing. We're gonna have this. It's gonna be the John Campea Show, and it's gonna be amazing. Cool. Do you have a place to shoot? No. Do you have equipment? No. Do you have a cast? No. Like, you have to have things kind of
Just a dream in my heart.
They
Just a
can't
dream in
even.
my
They
heart.
can't even think about all that. Nintendo is the main thing. They baby their properties like crazy,
and they should.
And
Yeah.
if there's anything that seems like it's a Mario ripoff, they will go after them. I believe when Nintendo wants to do the sequel will come because it made money. The studios would have already announced it, I think. I
Yeah.
think it's Nintendo that's might
Probably.
be holding this one up. They,
Well, and let's call a spade too, y'all. I loved Super Mario Brothers. It's not a great script.
no.
It's really fun. It's really pretty, but there's barely a story there, which everyone's going to be like, that's like the games. There are some stories in these games, you guys. You can pull from these. So this next movie can't just bank on it looking this beautiful, it having that nostalgia thing. It's going to have to deliver a little bit more.
We're going anyways, Grace.
I mean, we
Who are
are.
you kidding? Who are you kidding?
But are we going to go see it 5 times, Ray?
I didn't need to. It still made $1 billion one time.
I mean,
for
that's
me.
fair.
One
That's
time
fair.
for me, baby.
I know. You were the deciding factor.
I took
Ray-
it over that $1 billion.
Yeah.
I was that last ticket. It was like
The Ray
little
or a
Peter-
push.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. With the countdown, like
Yeah.
movie pet peeve. It's always at 3, 2, 1 that the thing happened. 3, 2. Why does it always? Why do they always get to that point? 3, 2, 1. Go, Jonathan. Next question.
All right. Yo Teach says Catherine O'Hara is just cast in The Last of Us season 2. That's
Ooh.
exciting.
Yes.
Any guesses who she's playing?
Not at all. I'm not
It's
as
such a
familiar with the
massive
second
story,
one.
and I'm just kind of thinking of anyone at like with her age, but they could also adapt. I mean,
Yeah.
she could be someone from
Schitt's Creek.
their town. Yeah, that literally could have been named.
Moira just comes over. She
Yeah.
survives somehow.
She could have been from that town. She could be living up in Seattle.
Joe, these clickers are very problematic, and I don't like them.
Yeah.
I could tell you one thing. What I
Whoever
know
she's
from,
playing, I'm sure it'll be great.
with Catherine O'Hara, she plays the annoying person so well to me when she wants to be annoying. She's irritated me a lot through a lot of her things. Whether it was meant to be that way or not, she has that it factor in that in that area for me. She could be the complaining lady that deserves to die. Oh, when the zombie eats them, I'm like, that might be the only one I don't feel bad for. That might have came too late. It should have happened earlier. But who knows? She's got range.
All right. We have time for a couple more here. So
15 more.
Yeah, 15 more. Well, we don't even have 15 more.
Oh.
Started playing Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League today, and so far it's actually pretty fun.
Oh, cool.
Captain Boomerang is actually the most fun to play because he can access the Speed Force.
Ooh.
Oh, that's cool. Bittersweet knowing this is one of the last times we'll hear Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Yeah.
So
We
there
talked
go.
about that a little bit yesterday,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you're enjoying the game. And hey, it's really fabulous that we get another performance of Kevin Conroy after he gave us so many incredible ones as Batman.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just because of what we were mentioning earlier with the economy, it's like this game is gonna have to be. I'm gonna play the long game on this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to wait on this one. But everyone who's gotten it, I hope you enjoy it for sure.
Okay, we got Michael Kurtz who writes, BBC crew, since John isn't here, I currently go to film school and have found that a lot of classmates are somewhat elitist. No kidding. If you don't like X thing or prefer X content, that makes you not as good because of their insecurities.
Yeah.
Have you known people like this? About almost everyone like that I've encountered throughout my life. Not everyone I know,
Yeah.
but like throughout my life, I have just, yes.
Guys, have you ever read the chat? It's not always sweet to us.
How do you change the conversation to we can like that? We can like what we like, and that's okay. I think you just did.
Yeah,
I think you just kind of have to be like, it's cool. Like, honestly.
absolutely. Y'all, I cannot tell you how many times, too, I've gotten made fun of for my kind of Mount Rushmore of movies, right? Because I'm Muppets Die Hard, where I think Muppet Christmas Carol is one of the best films that has ever been made. I love Clue. I love the Philadelphia Story. They're movies that a lot of other people don't think are cinema. And here's the thing, if you only like the same things, And if all your film school friends are only consuming the same stuff, they're all going to be inspired by the same thing. They're going to be churning out things trying to be Scorsese. They're going to be churning out things trying to be Tarantino instead of taking inspiration from all over and making really cool, innovative shit. Like Wes Anderson, he did his own thing and now he's this auteur, right? And maybe you like him or maybe you don't, but that's part of the film school experience is taking from everything. You know, seeing something like Voyage to the Moon, this old French film with no sound, and going, oh shit, that's something I can bring into my modern day filmmaking. Watching a Kurosawa film, watching something like randomly from a different country that you've never even heard of, but just putting it on because it could be a different type of story. That's where all the cool stuff lives. Everyone who watches the same shit, get out. You're going to make the same shit.
My suggestion is maybe go into your back pocket and try to find a movie that both of you guys can agree on.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, so if they're like, oh,
because you're never going to change their mind.
You know, what was his wording? Well, if you don't like, well, okay, first off, if you don't like something, that makes you not as good. Okay, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
That they literally are stupid. But I was going to say, they might say, oh, but I like this, you know, and you could say like, well, I like that too. I just also happen to like 1982, the pirate movie.
Yeah.
Like me. So, I mean, you could find some common ground. You could take the high road. Sometimes I just am humble about it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, well, tell me about that. Let me learn about like what you like. That's really cool. And then I just don't ever talk about the thing that they're elitist about. But that doesn't mean I stop liking it.
Yeah.
I just don't bring it up around
them. Yeah. Don't ever let.
I just lean in hard.
Yeah. Don't ever.
Sometimes I might do that if they're like being really rude.
Oh man. Oh, shameless plug. Amy Newman and I have a podcast about this very thing. We have a show called Two Filthy Casuals, and we invite a super fan on to talk about a fandom and why they love it so much, so that if you want, you can ask your silly questions about it or find out why some other person likes it, even if it's not your pet peeve, your cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ron loves the pirate movie too. Heck yeah.
So Ron, you and I, we park our
spacecraft,
our
shuttles,
tall ships in the same.
Yeah, the same
port.
Sort of.
You
park your cream cheese in the same
port of entries. Or something.
You cream cheese and bagel. You park your hole in the same donut.
Yeah.
Or like Dune 2 popcorn bucket or yeah, man, it's cool.
You stick your,
moving on. So this is our last one here. So we got Lexi who writes, "What are your thoughts on the final season of Supernatural?" Well, wait, have any of us?
Oh, I have. Yeah, I was actually just talking about how I want to rewatch all of Supernatural.
Oh, was that ending that good?
I know a lot.
You actually want to rewatch it?
So it kind of fell off.
Well, let me finish.
Yeah.
Okay. Because just in case it goes somewhere else, I know a lot of people say that it started to fall off after season 5, but I still enjoy the latter seasons. Although last one was hard to get through for me. Yeah. Host, take it away.
Okay. So I came into Supernatural very late. I didn't start watching it until the pandemic. And it was all on Netflix, so I got to binge it and then kind of catch up right before the finale. I know the series was supposed to theoretically end sooner while Kripke was still there. He left and they continued on. And it was one of the longest running shows, certainly for CW, but just in general, it had a very, very long life. The show did get a little for me in that last season. I didn't dislike the ending. I just didn't find it particularly satisfying. I think a few things were shoehorned in to make some fans happy too, that I totally could have bought into if they had given me a little more runway with it. Like certain characters feeling certain ways about each other. It was like, yeah, I always speculated, but I'd like a little more of us not just speculating and you giving me some fan service. I'd like us to actually have follow through on that. Love the characters. I think Castiel is one of the best characters ever with some of the funniest lines ever. I learned that from the Pizza Man. It's a fabulous show. And if you are into any kind of supernatural stuff, if you are into, monster lore or even kind of religious iconography, it's a really cool show. And Jensen Ackles, wonderful, wonderful actor.
And while I have you, this message is for you from the Richard Art and Inspiration.
Oh, please pitch your voice program. I also am planning to join. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not a great business person, but here's what I like to do. So my husband and I run a voiceover studio called Speak Friend Studio. You can go to speakfriendstudio.com and kind of learn about us. We got to update our February classes on there. But basically, you learn from 2 working actors. I mostly cover the voiceover side of things where Logan focuses on dialect. We are about to start a new animation class to kind of walking through finding your foundational voices. What I mean by that are these kind of base level voices that you can add something to or take something away from to create new characters.
Hey,
Ray's already been through the program.
how you do?
He's crushing it.
Sugar water.
So we have stuff like that. We do demo creation, but we recommend that for people who have studied either with us or elsewhere, just because a demo is a big investment. My husband walks you through different dialects to learn, breathing foundations and things so you can support that dialect choice, and so how you can support your work in the booth.
Yeah, so you can just be a cool guy.
I recently just did a commercial class with a bunch of people learning how to do different commercial voiceovers so you don't sound super announcery. Ray Ora is a big fan of my commercial work. So take his word for it.
Check it out. HTC commercial.
Yeah.
My favorite voiceover I've ever heard ever.
Thank you. But yeah, we just kind of do a couple different classes. We try to change it up too every now and then. It is based on our schedules as well, since we're working actors. I'm very fortunate. As you guys know, I wasn't here on Tuesday. I'm currently on a project. So it throws a wrench in my teaching schedule as well as my appearances here. So we also kind of have to do our classes around those schedules as well. But it's a real good time. And if you ever have the urge to learn about VO, hit us up.
Can I trade in?
And I love the Lord of the Rings reference.
Thank you.
Also,
Yeah,
can I
we got
trade-
Speak Friend. We have a fellowship bundle for when you want to
When you go up to the door, you have to go, Belloc.
That's what I was going to ask.
should.
If I could.
We had
You
so
said
many
speak friend, so.
We had so many people though keep calling it Speakeasy.
Oh, okay.
That's
We're
what I
like,
thought it was.
Oh no, it's not that. And then this is where I have to check like my nerdness and my nerd privilege and judgment, because it'll be, oh man, yeah, I never saw those movies, and I'll go, books. They're also books, but I know that the movies are way more mainstream.
Yeah.
And they're also a lot easier to get through. Peter Jackson crushed them. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. And we're out of questions, so.
Sweet. Thanks for letting me talk about that, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm just
Yeah.
shamelessly plugging everything today.
No,
This is
man. Fill
fabulous.
up that class. Fill up that class.
Yeah.
Let's get her.
Go to our website and sign up for stuff.
Yeah, because she barely does anything here, so you know.
Oh, you know
Might
what?
as well keep her busy.
The show's about to end, and I never gave, unless they left. I'm going to go with a character that I
This better
just
be
think is,
good.
no, I just think she's very interesting. Mara Jade.
Oh, that's a good pick. That's a really good pick.
Won the heart of Skywalker. She worked for
Yeah.
the Empire at some point.
I would love those stories.
Yeah. Mara Jade. I'm going Mara Jade.
Yeah.
Mine is Ray Ora, a character I made in Knights of the Old Republic. It's actually a woman, so
There you
it's
go.
probably the best. off-
Truly, Ray Ora does sound like a Star Wars character.
It does. Ray Ora.
Yeah. Would you be a Jedi?
No, I don't know. Doesn't
No?
matter. I'm just looking for things to trade.
Smuggling spice?
Well, you'd be a
I have the
smuggler,
best
a trader.
lightsaber, but I'm still on the
Trader.
first level. That's the way I play.
Would you be
I
a
rampage
cloner?
a town until it's unrampageable. Yeah. Like, because I don't want to progress or get harder bosses. I just stay and ruin the whole town. That's my gaming career.
Same, but not in games.
So you're basically Wreck-It Ralph in Jedi.
You know more. If anyone knows Morrowind, that initial town you start in,
You never
I
leave it?
killed all the security guards, took all their armor, and I just walk around that place, and I'm like, this
Why-
is where I
why
want
worry
to
about
stay
the
or
rest of
something.
this world and
Who cares
Morrowind?
about the story? You play a game the way you want to play it. I do, obviously. So that's a moral of the story, I guess.
All right. There we go.
Go ahead,
Worth
Chris.
the wait
Take it
to
away.
figure out who that Star Wars tertiary character was. Woo! Well, guys, thanks so much for being here for this edition of the John Campea Show, the non-Campea, with the Batman Beyond team. We really appreciate when you stick around for all of us. We have so much more fun when you are part of the conversation. So thank you so much for giving us so many good things to talk about and supporting us, too. You're helping us keep the lights on, helping us keep our jobs. That's really nice.
That's really important.
We want to thank the people in the room, right, Aura?
Everyone have a ball this weekend.
Or two.
Jonathan Voico.
No, sorry.
Belloc.
Didn't work. Sorry.
Thanks so much, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, be kind, and we will see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.